Today, we're getting into something so many of us grapple with, achieving real fluency in English. You know that feeling, right? Wanting to speak smoothly, connect with people, maybe get ahead at work, but then your mind goes blank or you get that knot in your stomach. It's a really common frustration.
Oh, it absolutely is. And the sources we looked at for this deep dive, they really nail those common roadblocks, like that brain freeze when you're suddenly asked something,
They do.
or getting, bogged down translating word for word in your head.
Exactly, like a mental traffic jam. And oh, the correction mindset, that fear of making a mistake. It can just freeze you up. Plus, let's be real, a lot of us read and write English fine, but the actual speaking part, that often gets left behind.
Yeah, and that's precisely where today's deep dive points us, towards a tool that sounds maybe simple, but it's incredibly powerful: self-talk. Think of it as a bridge. It helps you cross those gaps you just mentioned: the fear, the translation habit, the lack of practice. It's about practicing in, well, the safest place possible. Just you, your voice, no judgment.
So wait, no complicated grammar drills? No fear of looking silly? Just practice. That does sound like a potential game changer. Okay, so our mission today for you listening is to really get why self-talk is so effective and crucially, how you can use some really smart, practical strategies. Plus, how to push past those common roadblocks, ultimately making spoken English feel natural, confident, part of your everyday. Let's dig in.
Right. So what's really transformative about self-talk, according to these sources, isn't just the language mechanics, it's deeper. It changes how you feel about speaking. One of the biggest, most immediate benefits is this huge boost in confidence.
Okay. Because you're basically rehearsing. Like practicing for that job interview or a sales call or even just chatting with someone new. You're making your own little language lab, essentially. No need for a classroom or finding that perfect conversation partner.
Exactly that. And doing this regularly without that pressure leads to what one source called a mental personality shift. It's fascinating, really. When you practice just for yourself, your brain actually builds and strengthens the pathways for speaking spontaneously.
hmm
It helps you kind of sidestep that inner critic, the one that usually causes the brain freeze in real conversations.
Sidestep the inner critic. I like that.
Yeah, it's like building muscle memory, but for speaking. That stress, the hesitation, it starts to fade because you begin to actually trust yourself. You speak with more belief.
That's a really powerful concept. But okay, beyond the confidence and mental shift, does talking to yourself actually improve, the nuts and bolts? Vocabulary, sentence structure. How does that work?
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. When you're doing daily self-talk, maybe just describing your day, you're naturally using the real words and phrases you need for everyday life, not just abstract textbook stuff for exams.
Right, the useful stuff. And I bet all that repetition makes you faster, quicker thinking on your feet.
Precisely. That consistent practice makes forming sentences feel, well, more automatic. It speeds up your thinking and your response time when you're actually talking to someone.
And that speed probably helps how you sound, too.
Yes, pronunciation and flow.
Right.
Talking out loud literally trains your mouth muscles, your tongue. You start mimicking the natural rhythm, the cadence of spoken English. It's like a workout for your voice.
The vocal workout, yeah.
And it's quite amazing how these personal improvements then ripple outwards, especially into your career. Fluent, confident speakers, they connect better, they can lead more effectively, they open doors. When you speak clearly, people listen.
What I find really compelling, though, is this idea of emotional freedom.
Hmm.
I imagine talking to yourself daily helps release some of that anxiety around performance. You start playing with words, using them for color, for connection, not just worrying if they're correct.
Exactly. It frees you up creatively. So the big question then becomes, how do we actually do this? What are the practical methods? Our sources lay out some really smart geniuses methods, as they call them.
Okay, let's get practical. What's the first strategy? Morning mind map. How's that work?
Super simple. You just outline your day, but say it out loud in English. Like, okay, today is Wednesday, 9 a.m., team meeting about the project, lunch around noon, maybe I'll grab a salad. It's a great way to just switch your brain into English mode right at the start of the day.
That sounds pretty doable. Gentle way to start. What about scene-based role play? Sounds a bit more involved.
It is a bit more dynamic. You imagine a real situation, ordering coffee, asking for directions, maybe even a practice job interview question, and then you speak both sides of the chat. So you'd say, customer, hi, could I get a large cappuccino? Then switch, barista, sure thing, to stay or to go. It gets you ready for those common interactions.
That's clever, like a mental rehearsal. But what if someone finds it hard to visualize? How do you make that feel real enough to be useful?
Good question. The key is relevance. Pick scenarios that actually happen in your life. If you take the train, role play asking about delays. If you make international calls, practice starting those conversations. The closer it is to your reality, the easier it is to get into it. Okay, next up, 1-minute monologues.
Right, 1 minute. What's the focus here?
Pick any simple topic, your hometown, a movie you like, weekend plans, then just talk about it continuously for 60 seconds, no stopping. And here's the kicker. Record yourself, then listen back. It's brilliant for spotting where you pause or where you can maybe add more detail.
Ah, recording yourself. That adds a layer of self-awareness, definitely. What about methods focused more on listening and repeating?
That brings us neatly to shadowing. For this, you watch a short video clip, maybe news, a TED Talk, whatever. You pause it after each sentence or short phrase, and then you immediately say it out loud yourself. The goal is to match the speaker's tone, their speed, their emotion as closely as possible. It's fantastic for catching the natural rhythm and intonation.
I can see how that would help with the sort of music of the language. Are there ways to bring in the physical side too, like body language and confidence?
Absolutely. Method E is mirror talk. You literally stand in front of a mirror. As you speak, you watch your facial expressions, your gestures. It helps connect your physical presence with your words, builds confidence visually.
Mirror talk. I bet loads of people do that without even calling it a technique. Makes you look at yourself differently. Okay, are there any sort of language tricks, ways to buy yourself thinking time?
Yes. Strategy F is using power phrases. These are super useful little phrases that give you a moment to think and structure your thoughts. Things like, to be honest. Well, what I'm trying to say is, or, okay, let me explain. They make you sound more fluent, less hesitant, even when you're pausing.
Oh, those are gold dust in actual conversations. Gives you a beat. And what about just asking yourself things?
That's strategy G, question and answer. Just use simple, everyday questions. What's my favorite food and why? Why did I choose this career path? Answering them out loud helps build that muscle for spontaneous speaking, even if it's just with yourself.
And to finish the day, is there an evening technique?
Yep, strategy H, evening reflection. Simply narrate your day or parts of it in English. Today I learned, I felt really good when. Tomorrow I want to work on. It connects the language directly to your life, making it stick better.
So these are great techniques, but beyond just the how-to, what's the deeper impact, the magic that happens when this becomes a daily habit?
All right, that's where it gets really interesting. The sources consistently point to confidence growth. Every single time you practice speaking, even if you stumble over words, it's progress. It's building resilience. This regular low-stakes practice makes you mentally ready. So when you walk into a real meeting, you feel more prepared, less intimidated.
And I guess it must chip away at the anxiety, too.
Hugely. Talking to yourself every day builds this fundamental trust in your own voice. That fear of speaking, it starts to feel less like a monster and more like just a familiar routine you can manage.
It also sounds like it takes the pressure off perfection.
Yes, that's crucial. The source is stress. Consistency over perfection. Even one sentence counts. 5 words count. Lowering that bar for success actually makes you more likely to practice, not less.
And it's totally self-directed, isn't it? You set the pace. Slow, fast, pausing, confident. You decide. Allows for reflection.
Exactly. And ultimately, it connects learning to living. When you're talking about your day, your thoughts, your experiences in English, the language stops being just this subject you study. It becomes part of how you process and live your life. You're not just learning words, you're living them.
Okay, I'm sold on the why. If someone listening is ready to make this a real routine, where do they start? What are the steps?
First step, find your time. When can you realistically carve out even just a few minutes? Morning commute, lunch break, while cooking dinner. Consistency is key. Even 5 minutes daily is way better than an hour once a week.
Okay, find the time. Step 2.
Pick a focus. What do you want to improve right now?
Oh.
Is it sounding smoother, expressing feelings better, talking about work stuff, or just feeling less nervous? Choose one area to start.
Makes sense. Don't try to fix everything at once. What about tools? Anything beyond just talking?
Sure. Recording yourself on your phone is great. Just short voice memos, or make playlists for shadowing practice. Some people even do quick selfie videos for mirror talk practice. Use what helps you engage.
And the final step for building the routine.
Track your progress. Doesn't have to be fancy. Just jot down date, time spent, maybe how you felt. And importantly, celebrate the small wins. Acknowledge your effort.
Now let's tackle the elephant in the room. Or maybe the person talking to themselves in the room. It can feel, well, a bit weird, can it? What if you feel silly?
That's probably the most common hurdle. But the sources suggest reframing it. Feeling silly is often a sign you're pushing your boundaries, which is where growth happens. Real work often happens behind the scenes before anyone else notices. Maybe start super private in the shower, in your car. The feeling usually fades as it becomes just normal routine.
Okay, reframe the silliness. What if you just blank? You want to talk, but nothing comes out.
Simple prompts. Seriously basic stuff. The weather today is? For lunch I had. My main goal today is I read an article about. Start super simple.
And if you start, but then just stop, like one sentence and done.
Hey, one sentence is a start. That's progress from 0 sentences. Acknowledge it. Then tomorrow. Aim for 2. It's about building stamina. Tiny step by tiny step.
Another big one. Accents. My accent isn't good enough. People worry so much about this.
It's such a common concern, but here's the thing. Your accent doesn't stop people from understanding your meaning. Clarity is important, yes, but perfect native-like pronunciation isn't the first goal. Focus on building the confidence to express your ideas first. Your accent will naturally soften and adapt as you speak more. Don't let it silence you.
Right, confidence first. And the classic barrier for everything. I just don't have time.
The beauty here is flexibility. 1 minute counts. Waiting for the kettle to boil. Talk about your tea plans. Seriously, any moment can be used. Fluency grows from momentum, built bit by bit, not from huge, daunting time blocks. Start where you are with what you have.
It's actually really encouraging to hear these common struggles laid out and that there are practical ways around them. Can we hear about some people who actually did this? Some success stories.
Definitely. Let's talk about Maria from Brazil. She started with just a few minutes of morning mirror talk each day. Simple, within 3 weeks, just 3. She gave a presentation to over 50 colleagues. And she said she felt confident, at ease. It was a huge shift for her.
Wow, 3 weeks from mirror talk to presenting. That's fast. What about Anil from India?
Anil focused on practicality. He role-played ordering coffee every day in his kitchen. Sounds small, right? But within a month, he wasn't just ordering coffee confidently. He was actually having casual chats with tourists he met in cafes, enjoying it.
See, that's applying it directly to real life. Love that. And Fatima from Egypt.
Fatima used shadowing. She shadowed news clips every day. That consistent practice built her fluency and confidence so much that she ended up hosting language club meetings and even volunteering for events where she had to speak English. It opened up new community roles for her. These are real results.
Those stories are genuinely inspiring. So if people are fired up now and want a clear path, the source mentioned a 21-day challenge.
Yeah, a structured way to build a habit. Week 1 is about starting simple. Days 1 to 3, just do the morning mind maps. Days 4 to 7, add in those 1-minute monologues. Keep it manageable.
Okay. Week 1, start simple. Week 2.
Deepen the practice. Days 8 to 11, try mirror talk. Get comfortable seeing yourself speak. Days 12 to 14, practice those real-life scenarios. Maybe fake a phone call, talk through replying to an email, imagine you're shopping.
Right, more interactive stuff. And week 3.
Blend and expand. Days 15 to 17. Bring in shadowing with video clips. Days 18 to 21. Try combining things, maybe do an evening reflection, then your morning mind map the next day, plus a monologue. Mix and match.
That sounds like a solid plan to build momentum. And beyond the 21 days, how do you keep it going? Keep tracking growth.
Good point. A few suggestions came up. First, journal your wins. Little notes each day. Felt confident asking for directions. Spoke for 2 minutes straight. Acknowledged progress.
Okay, journaling. What else?
Second, weekly review. Maybe listen back to a recording from week 1 and compare it to one from week 3 or later. Hearing the difference is super motivating.
Yeah, tangible proof of progress.
Third, maybe find a buddy. Someone else learning, or just a friend you check in with daily. Did my 5 minutes. That accountability helps.
And a buddy system. Nice. Anything else?
And fourth, reward yourself. Hit a milestone, maybe a week straight of practice, or handling a tricky conversation. Treat yourself. Coffee, a book, whatever makes you feel good. Reinforce the positive habit.
So really, the message here is clear. Building English fluency, yes, it takes effort. But maybe the most powerful tool isn't out there somewhere. It's already with you. It's your own voice.
Exactly. Daily self-talk makes you your own coach. It's free, it's flexible, it's always available. You're in control.
It feels like it's about more than just grammar or vocabulary, isn't it? It's about finding your voice, speaking with honesty, with a bit of boldness, maybe some courage. It's about being able to wake up, walk into whatever situation life throws at you, and feel ready to say clearly to yourself and the world, okay, I'm ready to speak. I'm ready to connect. I'm ready for what's next.